In the inferno of Auschwitz, where death was the only certainty, one SS officer and one Jewish prisoner dared to create a secret world powered by forbidden love. This is the staggering, heartbreaking, and historically verified story of Helena Citronová and her tormentor, Franz Wunsch. Helena, a young, vibrant Slovak Jewish woman, arrived at Auschwitz-Birkenau in 1942. Her survival was initially dependent on her powerful singing voice, which SS guards forced her to use for entertainment. During one such performance, she was heard by Franz Wunsch, a handsome yet brutal Austrian SS guard who became instantly obsessed. The connection began not with romance, but with an act of desperate kindness. When Helena's sister, Rosa, and her 2 children arrived on a transport, Wunsch intervened. He reportedly threw Rosa's transport card away, saving her life, but could not save the children. He told Rosa simply, "Your sister is dear to me." This was the ultimate confirmation of his dangerous obsession. Wunsch, a man known for his cruelty to other prisoners, began showering Helena with small life-saving gifts. Extra food, better clothes, and even love letters slipped into her barracks. They began a secret high-risk affair that lasted for months. Helena's feelings were complex, born from desperation and the need to survive. She later admitted, "I didn't love Franz, but I liked him. You had to like him because he was a rescuer." The relationship abruptly ended in 1944 when Wunsch was transferred. Helena survived the war and immigrated to Israel. Decades later, she was called upon to testify in Austria at Wunsch's war crimes trial. Despite the fact that he saved her and her sister's life, she testified against him, detailing his other atrocities. She admitted to the court that she would have married him if he had been a civilian, a testament to the conflicting nature of their bond. Wunsch was ultimately acquitted of the major charges due to lack of evidence, but the story of their impossible love remains one of the most controversial and profound accounts from the Holocaust. In the dead center of Auschwitz, where gas chambers loomed and hope was a crime, a daring romance unfolded between a brilliant artist and a handsome singer, a secret that defied Hitler's final solution. This is the astonishing true story of Zippi Spitzer and David Wisnia, 2 Jewish prisoners whose forbidden passions spanned continents and more than 7 decades. Zippi Spitzer, a sophisticated Slovakian Jew and trained graphic designer, was among the first women transported to Auschwitz in 1942. Her skills were quickly exploited by the SS. She became a privileged prisoner, tasked with drafting plans and maps for the vast camp complex and managing administrative records, giving her a dangerous level of access. David Wisnia, a Polish Jew, arrived later, surviving due to his youthful good looks and operatic voice, which he was forced to use to entertain the SS officers, earning him the nickname, the Bird of Auschwitz. Their paths converged inside the laundry room, a place of momentary privacy. Zippi, using her position, orchestrated meetings. Their secret rendezvous would take place impossibly in the SS officer's bathhouse, an act of ultimate defiance steps away from their murderers. They fell deeply in love, knowing any discovery would mean immediate execution. In late 1944, as the Soviet army approached, David was forced onto a death march. Before he left, Zippi gave him a crucial warning. Don't go to the west, go to the east, because that's where the war is ending. David escaped the march and followed her advice, eventually making it to the Allied forces. They promised to meet in Warsaw, but fate intervened and both assumed the other had perished. David emigrated to the US, became a cantor, and married. Zippi married a man she met after the war, and also settled in the US. More than 72 years later, guided by a journalist and David's grandson, David and Zippi, now both in their 90s, were astonishingly reunited. Their story, documented in the book Lovers in Auschwitz, A True Story, is a powerful testament to the persistence of love and memory. In a freezing Polish labor camp, surrounded by barbed wire and starvation, a young man faced a choice: focus solely on survival, or risk everything for a future built on a stolen glance and whispered words. This is the enduring, verifiable love story of Sam and Regina Spiegel, a couple who found each other while forced into slave labor under Nazi tyranny. Sam and Regina were both Polish Jews from different towns, caught in the Nazi net and sent to a series of forced labor camps. Sam first saw Regina in a camp in Skarżysko-Kamienna, known for its horrific conditions in munitions factories. He was instantly captivated by her spirit, even amidst the crushing despair. Communication between male and female prisoners was strictly forbidden and highly dangerous, yet Sam, determined, found ways to exchange small notes and signals with Regina, slowly building a connection that gave them both a reason to endure the relentless cruelty. Their romance was nurtured through tiny acts of courage, sharing meager rations, exchanging glances during work details, and the silent promise of hope. As the war raged on, they were separated and endured further transfers to other camps, including Buchenwald for Sam and Bergen-Belsen for Regina. They survived the atrocities of the death camps, but upon liberation, the world was chaos. and they had no way of knowing if the other was alive. Miraculously, Sam, while searching desperately through displaced persons lists, located Regina in a DP camp in Germany. They reunited, and their shared trauma and whispered promises blossomed into commitment. They married in 1946, and shortly thereafter immigrated to the United States, settling in New York. Their story is frequently highlighted by the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum as an example of the resilience of the human spirit, showing how even in the most dehumanizing conditions, the capacity for connection and love persisted and provided the strength necessary for survival. She was a ghost, barely alive, stumbling out of a death march. He was a Scottish soldier, a liberator, arriving with Allied tanks. In the smoking ruin of Nazi Germany, their eyes met, sparking a love story so immediate and true, it defied the very war that brought them together. This is the astonishing, confirmed romance of Edith Steiner and John Mackay. Edith Steiner was a Hungarian Jewish prisoner who had survived the horrors of Auschwitz, only to be forced onto one of the brutal death marches as the Nazi regime collapsed. She managed to escape the march and was hiding near a German village when British forces, including the 51st Highland Division, arrived in 1945. Among them was John Mackay, a young, handsome Scottish sergeant who had himself been a prisoner of war. John was instantly struck by Edith. The moment of their meeting was electric, a moment of profound humanity emerging from absolute destruction. The very next day, a local celebration was held for the newly liberated Jewish prisoners. As Edith was dancing, John boldly cut in. Though they could barely communicate, speaking different languages, and having just emerged from unimaginable circumstances, their connection was undeniable. Their romance was fast and absolute. Just weeks later, John proposed to Edith. Despite the immense logistical and emotional challenges of the immediate post-war period and the strong objections from John's father back in Scotland, who feared his son marrying a refugee, John remained resolute. He promised Edith he would write to her every day until he could get her to Scotland. He kept that promise. The couple married in 1946 in his hometown of Golspie, Scotland, defying cultural and religious differences. Their enduring love lasted for more than 70 years and produced 2 sons. Their story is held up as a powerful symbol of hope, demonstrating that even at the war's end, profound joy and new life could still be found. Amidst the shadows of Nazi Berlin, where 2 forms of persecution, Jewish identity and homosexuality, met with lethal force, 2 teenage boys dared to pursue a forbidden love that became a poignant symbol of resistance. This is the tragic and powerful true story of Gad Beck and Manfred Lewin. Gad Beck and Manfred Lewin were young Jewish men living in Berlin during the 1940s, a time when both their faith and their sexual orientation were criminalized by the Third Reich. They met as part of the clandestine Chug, Hebrew for circle, a secret organization of young Jewish people who attempted to maintain their culture and community spirit despite the escalating deportations and restrictions. Gad and Manfred fell deeply in love, their relationship forced to exist entirely in secret, hidden from both the Gestapo and often their own families. Their time together was a precious small haven of normalcy in a collapsing world. The relationship came to a shocking, brutal end when, in 1943, Manfred and his entire family were rounded up for deportation. Gad, in a final desperate and extraordinarily reckless act of love, went to the assembly point where the deportees were held. He showed up dressed in a uniform he had purchased, claiming to be an Aryan labor organizer, and insisted he needed to retrieve Manfred for a critical work detail. The plan was doomed from the start. Manfred, recognizing the incredible danger Gad was putting himself in, and knowing the futility of escaping deportation, made the ultimate sacrifice. He whispered to Gad, "No, Gad, I won't go with you," and insisted on staying with his family. It was their final goodbye. Manfred Lewin and his family were transported to Auschwitz and were murdered. Gad Beck survived the war, became a celebrated educator and writer, and dedicated his life to preserving the memory of those lost, particularly the young Jewish men and women who resisted. He never forgot Manfred, describing their brief, intense love as the defining relationship of his life.